Welcome back, Tailgate Talk fans. We're back for another project, and this one is in the camper. And so what we've got here is this is the furnace, and I'm not going to go into how to remove the furnace. There's a lot of videos already out there. What I'm going to do is show you how to improve the efficiency of your furnace in your camper, and also dampen some of the noise. So let's inspect what we've got here. So this is these are the exhaust pipes in the back, and down here is the cutout in the floor where air is actually forced into the system. So I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see that this seal here, which is made out of just, oh my gosh, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, you spend 20 grand on a camper, you know, something like that, and they put it together with crap like this. I mean, it's just real disheartening. So what I'm going to do is improve this seal here, and I've got the actual furnace here. You can see on the bottom. So this is going to lay on top of that rectangle there. And as you can see, it's all metal. I mean, there's really nothing here to create a seal. So as this thing is blowing air down, I mean, just imagine how much air is being lost there. And then on top of that, if you look at both sides, actually 3 different sides, you've got these pop-out pieces here, and this is for different style campers if I had ductwork coming off of those. So I'm going to seal those up, and they're on this side as well. And then this is my front cover here, which has the same thing. And I mean, you can see daylight through that. I mean, come on, for crying out loud. Let's increase the efficiency. And then the other thing I want to do is line the inside of this cabinet with some insulation. And that's going to do 2 things. Up here, we've got the refrigerator. So that's going to cut down on how hard my refrigerator is working. And then also, in theory, which I believe is going to play out quite well, if I line the inside of this with insulation, it's also going to cut down on the noise. So some of the things I'll be using, I'm going to line the inside of the cabinet with this duct insulation, and that's 12-inch wide, 15 feet long, and 2 inches thick. And then I'm going to create this seal between the floor and the actual furnace itself with this pipe wrap insulation tape. So I'll show you how to do that. And then other places, like on these vents on the side, I'm going to use this tape, this aluminum tape here, to seal those things off. So let me get going, and I'll check back in and give you some progress. So the first step was to retape all of this with aluminum tape. And the reason I did that, gives me a clean surface to work with where I can put my next layer of foam insulation tape on top of that. So that'll create the foam barrier of insulation between the floor and the furnace unit. And then also the other reason I did it was because I actually found gaps in the floor between the ductwork and the subfloor here. So as you're pumping air down, I was actually losing air, going through a crack here, and then on this underside here, losing more air there. I've got my insulation tape all in, and I ended up going with 2 layers. And just for comparison, I put the old insulation here just so you can see by height that it's going to work out to be about the same height. Obviously, this is a lot softer and was compressing a lot more. This is a lot more dense, so when I set the unit back on top of it, it's not going to compress as much. So next, I'm going to seal up the other vents in the unit, these side vents. Not much to show here other than just to show you that the aluminum tape will completely seal these holes up. And again, I'm going to do that all the way around. So take care of these on this side and the other side, and then move on to the next step. Well, I've got the furnace back in there, and just a side note, when you're doing this, these things are razor sharp all the way around. It's incredible. I don't know what they cut this stuff out of, but it is sharp everywhere. You can see I've got the ports that I'm not going to use. I've got those sealed up nicely with aluminum tape. And then also I've got the, where it forces air through the floor, I've got that sealed up really well. You can see some blood right there. I got lost some blood. But anyway, this thing is so cheap and flimsy, I actually ended up having to put one smaller strip under here. So I've got the 2 wide strips, and then I've got another strip that I cut here going all the way across. And then, I don't know if you can see it in the back, but I did the same thing across the back panel because it's so wonky as well. Now I'm going to move on to insulating the inside of the cabinet. So we're about to wrap this up. I wanted to show you the inside of the cabinet now that I've lined it with insulation. And it's very easy to do. All you do is take a depth measurement, lay that out on your roll of insulation, and simply cut with scissors. And then you'll want to tack it up with a staple gun. I used a 3/8 inch staple, which is fairly small, and just kind of tack it up each corner, obviously, maybe 1 or 2 in the middle, top and bottom. And that'll hold you. So all I got to do now is there's a drawer here. I'll put that drawer back in, and then this grate on the front, and we'll be ready to test it. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention. Anytime you're using insulation, you'll want to wear gloves and long sleeves. I mean, keep in mind, this is fiberglass. It actually is made of glass. Gets all over your skin, makes you super itchy. Won't kill you, but very uncomfortable. So wear gloves and long sleeves. All right, so I got everything back together. It sounds real nice. I'd say reduce the noise by about 30, maybe 40%. And remember, I wanted to do it also to help out my fridge. And we've improved airflow, and man, it's getting hot in here real fast. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I appreciate you watching. If you liked it and learned something, that bell and subscribe and all that kind of stuff, I'd really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Take care.